American First Business Class. If you had this class in Germany, it is nearly equivalent to experiencing a first-class service. I really like Turkish Airlines. They have such beautiful wide seats. It's great to be able to sit in them. There was a small business class that was enclosed with a curtain. It is important to note that you also have to mention this fact. Furthermore, it provides a certain level of exclusivity, as only 8 guests are allowed, and you also get a little bit of the feeling that this is already a better way of traveling compared to other options available. So, if you decide to invest $350 in it and perceive it as a valuable experience, it has the potential to be an excellent choice that can provide you with lasting memories and satisfaction. Which airline are we flying with? American Airlines in the first place. This is a very classic business class, but yes, it is already considered first class for our European business class passengers. Therefore, you cannot simply talk nicely, but you have to talk nicely because it is genuinely enjoyable to travel and fly in these spacious seats. Merely the fact that you arrive home by yourself. Thus, you enter this business class and subsequently express, I observe a distinction. Here, the passengers are not the same. So, let's start from the very beginning. I just wanted to use this as a small euphoric moment to give you the positive mood that this flight with American Airlines has brought compared to many European airlines, but also compared to the last JetBlue flight. Everything is well organized. So they have all the airlines under them. The one is then United, the other is the terminal for American Airlines, and you can reach there fast and easily. Also, there is a network of various airlines, low-cost airlines, etc., that collaborate there. But you just have the feeling with American Airlines that you're getting in. And when you then go through this door, everything is already a bit there. The whole glamour has disappeared, but it is still noticeable, so I will express it without hesitation. I can still imagine that it was once good there, and that is now for the current time in which we are, and for this bad service that is offered everywhere. That was bumpy, so really I'm there. Then there was a very friendly employee. There was this priority area directly there, and they said, yes, of course they are right. Then she checked me in there, and I was also able to check in a suitcase. She said I can take her, but it'd be more comfortable. And then I ask, any issues with you in America? No, not like in Europe, she says. They didn't have such extreme problems. So there was my ticket, unfortunately not there. You do not have priority boarding in this first or business ticket. So yes, you have to book this PSA thing separately. If you make a reservation and pay $45, then you will be eligible to utilize this extra loan that is available to you. So, and I arrived there and there was chaos. Really, I thought, my goodness. Then it also said that if you entered with PSA, it will take another 12 or 13 minutes. If you go there with the regular lane, it took 45 minutes. Well, I mean, that's a lot, and it was really crowded. And then you stood there for 3/4 of an hour. As if by magic, I only took 7 minutes for the security check. I say thank you very much. You always have to, well, you can't just let everything come to you, but you have to take initiative. Yes, that's what the Hondas call it. So I quickly got in, went through security, and I told you that I finally recorded it, that I have my blue slippers there, and that I have my shoehorn later. And then I sit down there, and then you see how the others look and come there barefoot, and you always think, my goodness, how can you just go barefoot through security, especially in America? Nightmare, I wouldn't have. And so it was that they all naturally stood at the windows and looked and also amused themselves that I spoon shoes and that I have my little shoes there. Yes, they already have. And then I looked and then they did it like that. I said, yes, that's just how it is. Yes, many of the Horn family are doing that now too. You have learned and say, why should I step on dirty ground with bare feet only to get some mushrooms on my foot afterwards? Doesn't have to be. So you put this blue thing over the socks and then you can walk, nothing happens. Then packed up once more and everything is in order and the world is fine. So I am out and I thought, okay, let me check if I can gain entry into this lounge with this business first card. No. Therefore, on an international level, you have the ability to access these lounges within the business area, but not within the regional area. That means if I fly within America, and I have experienced this with Delta, you don't have the option to use the T-grid, but only with status. You require status to access this lounge, therefore I proceeded and obtained for myself a small sandwich in that location. And that is something that in America they have of course organized well now. Of course you will find well-organized sandwich makers and Burger Kings and who knows what else in these terminals everywhere. There's already a large selection. Also these classic bars where they always sit, where they drink their beer and then wait for flights for departure. You also have to pay in the lounge. Whether you drink the beer there or sit in the lounge and drink, no difference. So this differentiation is still very inadequate in the United States. The concept of service behind it, they have truly lost it in this place. So they just dropped it. And it's like in these hotel club lounges, there are now times, or rather specific times, when you can go to this lounge. Well, it starts with breakfast. You only have breakfast at most, but there is no afternoon service on weekends, for example. So something. And that's how it is with the lounges. They have a paradise when they come to Europe. Discover paradise before. When they drive back, they fall into a coma. They say, oh God, this service desert America. Look, service desert America. Yes, unfortunately it is so. Everything has deteriorated extremely here. And on occasion, I truly wonder how it could have even come to pass that the Americans allowed it to happen to themselves. But it is probably also in their human things themselves, because when you watch the Americans, how they enter the lounges, how they then make their story, they actually want to grab something quickly, and then they actually want to leave again. And it has to be a lot. I find that it has become worse. In general, this complete all-round service, including cleanliness and other aspects, when you observe this airport, it is extremely dirty. Honestly, it's incredibly dirty, unimaginable. Also on board afterwards, I'll participate. I arrived on time at my gate and had to realize that there are only a few delays here, much less than I anticipated. Also American Airlines, he arrived. In 20 minutes it's boarding, no plane yet. Whoop-zuck, the plane appeared. Whoop-zuck everything out. Again the info, nothing is cleaned anymore, no plane is cleaned. They collect all the trash during the flight and also make sure that you don't leave anything in these boxes or anything like that. Of course, it's a call to action for me as well. I'll just leave everything in the box. So I do it on purpose because I say I don't care about it. The garbage I have is no longer my garbage. I practically take these Keo chips, then I put them in and I'm done. That I now give them this so that they have better service, that's the same. I have never returned my belongings when I was in a fast food restaurant because it always signifies a reduction in employment opportunities. So if all people do that, if all people leave everything behind, they need someone to clean it up. And that's exactly the problem, because everyone returned everything, the jobs were abolished. I do what is best for me. Once more, I have to clarify it in a repetitive manner. When I'm traveling, only I count who pays for it. And this attitude is the most important attitude one must have as a traveler. Otherwise, you will be left behind. That's how simple the game is. So I come on board with this, yes, positive area, and then I look at the seat, my seat 1A in the front left. I sit down. So it began and it was like, what would you like to drink? Yes, was there anything? Sodas and chips. Nothing else. You have to pay for everything else. Also at American Airlines in this business first. It all requires money. There is no menu, food or anything else. And from the side, it has become dramatically clear that it's just a chip now. I mean, this is a 1.5-hour flight. You can serve a small snack. No, it's cancelled. I'm just saying that's what awaits us in Europe and what is already being implemented. Eventually, it won't exist anymore. There's a bag of chips and that's it. So, the flight. These employees are really very nice. Well, they are kind of cute in their own way. And I had such a very, yes, I feel like such an attractive little thing, right? Such a Miss America. Yes, she was cute, but the clothes they're wearing, I mean, that's plush. So really, such a little sweater and so on, and such a short skirt. So it's really like, yes, lying on the sofa at home, operate. But likely traditional clothing they all have. How was overall roundabout, the conclusion, American Airlines flight? I enjoyed it, I would book it again, and I am really looking forward to the United Airlines flight now. Anticipate the review of United Airlines, as well as a flight on business first class. Now, I am also a gold member with them, and I am very curious about the site, how it is in the club. What is it called? The United Club. It must be terrible. It was terrible back then. It is probably just as terrible now. So I won't use it in that sense, but I will focus on the flight, and I'm very curious if they will do something different on board here. I had a great flight with American Airlines in their business first class from Newark to Chicago. The experience was enjoyable, and I hope you had a good flight too. Farewell.